I'm the woman everyone's calling a monster for what I said to my boyfriend, but nobody knows I'd been watching him flirt with my sister for 3 months before I finally snapped. They think one cruel comment destroyed a perfect relationship. They're wrong about the perfect part. What's crumbling isn't just my 5-year relationship with Marcus. It's my relationship with my sister Claire, my standing in our tight-knit family, and the version of myself I've carefully constructed as the supportive, understanding partner. I'm terrified because once people know what I've been hiding, what I did after he walked out, they'll realize the comment was just the tip of something much darker. I'm going to tell you everything, including the part about what I found on his laptop 3 days after he left. The context won't make me innocent, but it'll make you understand why I can't bring myself to apologize, no matter how many people tell me I should. It started at Claire's graduation party last spring. I'd been with Marcus since college and everyone loved how stable we were. No drama, no fights, just comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. I noticed how he'd started working late more often, how sex had dwindled to maybe twice a month, but I told myself that's just what happens after 5 years. People get busy, passion fades, it's normal. Claire had just finished her master's degree and was moving back home temporarily. She's 4 years younger than me and I'll admit I've always been a little jealous of her. She's effortlessly pretty in that Instagram way. I'm more of the clean-up nice type. At the party, I watched Marcus laugh at her jokes a bit too enthusiastically. I saw how his eyes followed her when she walked to the kitchen. But when I mentioned it later that night, he acted like I was crazy. She's your sister, babe, I was just being friendly. I decided to drop it. I didn't want to be that girlfriend, the insecure one who sees threats everywhere. So I swallowed my discomfort and told myself I was being paranoid. That was my first mistake, trusting my instincts less than I trusted his reassurance. Over the next few weeks, Marcus started suggesting we invite Claire to things. Coffee runs, movie nights, a hiking trip. She just moved back, he'd say. She probably needs friends. Each time I felt this twist in my stomach, but what could I say? She was my sister. Of course she should hang out with us. I started noticing little things. How he'd shower before she came over. How he changed his cologne to something more expensive. How he'd mentioned things she'd texted him about. Wait, when did they start texting? When I asked, he showed me his phone casually. Just friendly stuff about restaurant recommendations and Netflix shows. Nothing inappropriate. I felt guilty for even questioning it. But then I noticed he'd angled the screen so I couldn't see the timestamps. Why would he do that unless the frequency was something I'd question? I began checking his phone when he showered. I know, invasion of privacy, breach of trust, all of that, but my gut was screaming that something was off. The texts were friendly, but they happened every single day, multiple times a day, constant little jokes and memes and observations. The kind of frequent communication that builds intimacy. Nothing explicitly sexual, nothing I could point to and say this is wrong, just a lot too much. He was texting my sister more than he texted me. When I confronted him calmly, I thought he turned it around on me. You're being controlling, she's family. What, I'm not allowed to be friends with your sister? He made me feel small and paranoid. I apologized. Actually apologized for being upset that my boyfriend was in constant contact with my younger, prettier sister. That night, I did something I'm not proud of. I created a fake Instagram account and started watching their interactions there too. They weren't following each other publicly, but I knew Claire's private account. Marcus had requested to follow it 2 weeks earlier. The photos she posted were normal, her life, her friends, her new apartment, hunting. But Marcus liked every single one within minutes of posting, and his comments, while innocent on the surface, had this energy to them. Looking good, with a fire emoji. Wish I was there on a photo of her at a rooftop bar. Things that could be explained away but felt like more. I started pulling back from Marcus emotionally. If he noticed, he didn't say anything. Our conversations became surface level. I stopped initiating sex entirely. I wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. He didn't initiate either. We went 6 weeks without touching each other beyond a peck goodbye, but he was still texting Claire constantly. I knew because I'd started checking every night while he slept. My friends noticed I seemed off. When they asked about Marcus, I painted everything as fine. Great even, because admitting what I suspected, that my boyfriend might be emotionally cheating with my own sister, felt too humiliating. What did that say about me? That I wasn't interesting enough, pretty enough, fun enough to keep his attention? I threw myself into improving myself instead. New workouts, new clothes, a haircut I thought he'd like. He barely commented. But when Claire showed up with shorter hair the next week, he noticed immediately. That looks amazing on you, he told her while I stood right there. Something in me cracked a little that day. I started testing him in small ways. I'd mentioned feeling insecure, wanting more quality time together. He'd agree, then make plans with Claire that same week. I'd suggest a weekend trip, just us. He'd say money was tight. Then I'd overhear him telling Claire about a concert he was thinking of going to. The gaslighting was subtle but constant. Every concern I raised was met with "you're being paranoid." or you're imagining things, or I think you need to work on your trust issues. He made me question my own reality. By the time we hit the incident that everyone knows about, I was already hollowed out. I'd spent 3 months watching the man I loved light up for my sister in ways he never did for me anymore. 3 months of being told I was crazy for noticing. 3 months of checking his phone like a detective and hating myself for it. Here's what nobody knows: 2 days before everything blew up, I found a draft text on his phone. He typed it to Claire but never sent it. I keep thinking about what you said last week. You're right that we have something special, I just don't know what to do about it. My hands shook so hard I nearly dropped the phone. I took a screenshot, I still have it, then deleted it from his recently deleted folder so he wouldn't know I'd seen. This was evidence that something was happening, that I wasn't crazy. But I couldn't confront him with it without admitting I'd been snooping. I felt trapped. If I said something, I was the controlling girlfriend who violated his privacy. If I said nothing, I had to keep pretending everything was fine while my relationship dissolved from the inside. I called Claire the next day. We met for coffee, just us. I tried to feel out what was happening without directly accusing her. You and Marcus seem to get along well, I said carefully. He's great, she said, smiling. You're so lucky. Do you guys text a lot? She hesitated just a fraction of a second, but I caught it. Sometimes. Why? Just wondering. I couldn't push further. What was I going to say? I read his unsent draft and I know something's happening. She'd either deny it or get defensive, and I'd look unhinged either way. That night I tried to initiate sex with Marcus. Maybe if we reconnected physically things would get better. He said he was tired. Then I heard him texting someone in the bathroom for 20 minutes. I knew it was her. The next evening was when it happened. We were at a family dinner, my parents, Claire, Marcus, and me. My mom made pot roast, Marcus's favorite. Everyone was laughing and talking, and I was sitting there feeling like a ghost in my own life. Marcus was telling a story, being charming, and Claire was laughing at all his jokes. My dad made some comment about marriage, asking when Marcus and I were going to make it official. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. We're not in a rush, he said. We used to talk about marriage all the time. When had that stopped? After dinner, Marcus and I were doing dishes while everyone else watched TV. That's when he mentioned it so casually, like it was nothing. Claire's having trouble with her car. I told her I'd look at it tomorrow. You don't know anything about cars, I said. I can Google it, I just want to help. Why don't I come with you? His face did this micro-expression thing, annoyance quickly covered with fake nonchalance. You said you had work stuff tomorrow. I did have work stuff, but I hadn't told him that. Which meant he'd already discussed this plan with Claire in detail, knew my schedule, and had been planning to see her alone without mentioning it to me until the last minute. I can move it, I said, watching him. It's fine. It'll probably take 5 minutes, not worth you rearranging your day. We finished the dishes in silence. When we got home, I exploded. Everything I'd been holding in for 3 months came pouring out. Texting, the attention, the way he looked at her, the unsent draft. Yes, I admitted I'd been checking his phone. I was done pretending. He didn't apologize, didn't reassure me. Instead, he got angry that I'd violated his privacy. You've been reading my text. What the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? You're emotionally cheating with my sister. We're friends. Jesus Christ, you're so insecure. This is exactly why things have been weird between us. You're suffocating me with this paranoid bullshit. The words hit like physical blows. He was turning my completely rational concerns into character flaws, making me the problem. Do you have feelings for her? I asked directly. This is insane. I'm not doing this. He grabbed his keys. Where are you going? Out. I need space from this crazy. He left. I sat on our couch and cried for 2 hours. When he came back, he was calm but cold. I think we need to take a break, he said. You clearly don't trust me, and I can't be in a relationship where I'm constantly accused of things I'm not doing. I wanted to fight back, but I was exhausted. Fine, I said. He slept in the guest room. The next morning he was friendly again, like nothing had happened. This was his pattern: blow up, disappear, come back, and pretend we'd reset to zero. It used to work on me, not this time. He made himself breakfast and mentioned he was still planning to help Claire with her car. Unless you're going to lose your mind about it, he added, and that's when I said it. The thing everyone knows about. He was drinking his coffee, checking his phone, probably texting her, and I was watching him. This man I'd loved for 5 years, who made me feel crazy for 3 months, who was about to go spend alone time with my sister while pretending I was the problem. You should make sure you do a good job, I said. Real men last longer than 5 minutes. I was talking about the car, obviously. About how he was claiming it would only take 5 minutes when we both knew he'd planned to spend much longer with her. But I said it in a way that had a double meaning. About our dying sex life. About his performance issues. Yes, he had them, and yes, I'd always been supportive about it, never made him feel bad. Until that moment. His face went white, then red. What did you just say? You heard me. Never weaponized his vulnerability before. In 5 years, I'd never once used his sexual insecurities against him. I'd been patient and understanding and supportive. And in one sentence I'd thrown all of that in his face. You're a fucking bitch, he said quietly. Then he went to the bedroom and started packing a bag. I followed him, immediately regretting it. Marcus, wait, no, I'm done. You want to know why things have been bad between us? This is why. You're mean and jealous and controlling, and I've been trying to make it work, but I can't do this anymore. I mean, you've been flirting with my sister for months. I've been nice to your sister. There's a difference. But you can't see that because you're so consumed with your own insecurity that you've turned into someone I don't even recognize. He was rewriting history in real time, making himself the victim and me the villain. And part of me, the part that had been gaslit for 3 months, almost believed him. If you leave over this, it proves I was right, I said, that there's something between you two. I'm leaving because you're cruel, because you just attacked me in the worst way possible over nothing, because I deserve better than someone who would say something like that. He left, just like that, 5 years, and he walked out over one comment. Except it wasn't really about the comment, was it? I called him that night. No answer. I texted an apology. Nothing. The next day I tried again. He finally responded, I need space, don't contact me. I respected that for about 12 hours. Then I started calling again. I was panicking. I pushed him away with my cruelty, and now he was really gone. And what if I'd been wrong about everything? What if I destroyed a good relationship because of my own paranoia? The calls went to voicemail. The text turned blue but got no response. On day 3, I drove to his friend Dave's place where I knew he was staying. Dave answered the door looking uncomfortable. He doesn't want to see you, Dave said. I just need 5 minutes, please. He was really clear. I'm sorry. I tried to look past Dave into the apartment. Is he here? You should go. I left, humiliated. Then I did something worse. I texted Claire and asked if she'd heard from him. He told me what happened, she wrote back. What you said was really hurtful. I think you should give him space. He'd already talked to her, of course he had, and she was taking his side. My own sister was taking his side. There's nothing going on between us, she added without me even asking. I hope you know that. He's your boyfriend. I would never. The way she said would never instead of did never stuck with me. I spiraled. I called in sick to work and spent the day going through every text, every photo, every interaction I could remember. I made a timeline in a notebook like a detective. June 12th, first text exchange. June 18th, he showered before she came over. June 24th, concert comment. I filled 12 pages. When I finished, I looked at what I'd created and felt sick. This was crazy person behavior. Marcus was right. I'd become someone unrecognizable. I decided to fix it. I texted him a long, heartfelt apology. I admitted I'd been insecure and jealous and wrong. I promised to work on my trust issues. I begged for another chance. Nothing. Radio silence. I called his mom, who I'd always had a good relationship with. Oh honey, she said carefully. Marcus told me what happened. He said things had been difficult for a while. What else did he tell you? A pause. That you said something very hurtful during a fight. Of course that's all he told her, not the context, not the 3 months of emotional cheating, just my one cruel comment. Did he mention Claire? I asked. Your sister? No, why? So he was controlling the narrative everywhere, making me the villain, the crazy ex-girlfriend who attacked him unprovoked. My friends started checking in. We heard you and Marcus broke up. Are you okay? Word was spreading. I knew I should get ahead of the story, tell my side, but I was so tired. And honestly, what was my side? That I'd spent months stalking my boyfriend's texts with my sister. That I'd found one unsent draft and built a whole affair scenario around it. When I laid it out plainly like that, I sounded unhinged. A week after he left, Claire invited me to lunch. I almost said no, but I needed to see her face when I asked her directly. We met at a cafe near her new apartment. She looked guilty before I even said anything. I feel terrible about all of this, she started. Why? I asked. What do you have to feel terrible about? She fidgeted with her napkin. I know you think something was happening between me and Marcus. I want you to know it wasn't. We were just friends. We're just friends, I meant. She caught herself. I'm not talking to him anymore, out of respect for you. But you were talking to him after he left. He called me upset. I listened, that's it. What did he say? That you've been acting paranoid for months, that you went through his phone, that you said something really mean about. She trailed off, embarrassed. About his sexual performance, I finished. Yeah, I did, after watching him flirt with you for 3 months. He wasn't flirting with me. Then why did he draft a text telling you that you two have something special? Her face went blank. What? I pulled up the screenshot on my phone and showed her. I'd been carrying it around like evidence. She read it and I watched the color drain from her face. I never got this text. Because he didn't send it, but he wrote it. When was this? I told her the date. She scrolled through her own phone looking for something. Then she handed it to me. It was her conversation with Marcus. On that date she'd texted him, I really value our friendship. It's nice having someone to talk to about everything. His response, same, you're easy to talk to. That was it, nothing about something special. Nothing inappropriate. But his draft said he'd been thinking about what she said, about there's something special. Which meant he'd read her innocent text about friendship and interpreted it as something more, or wanted it to be something more. He'd sat there typing out a response that would escalate their relationship, then thought better of it. But the fact that he typed it at all meant the feelings were there. Do you see? I asked her. He was building up to something. Claire looked genuinely disturbed. I thought we were just friends, I swear. If I'd known he was feeling anything else, I would have shut it down. Did you like the attention? She bit her lip. Maybe, he's charming, he made me feel interesting, but I never thought of him as anything but your boyfriend. I would never do that to you. I wanted to believe her, but there was something in her tone and the way she said maybe that suggested she'd enjoyed his attention more than she wanted to admit. He's staying with Dave, I said, but he won't talk to me. He's making me out to be this crazy, cruel person to everyone. What do you want me to do? Tell him you're not interested, make it clear there's no future there, maybe then he'll come back. She looked uncomfortable. I'm not sure there's nothing to shut down because nothing was happening. Then why do you look so guilty right now? Because I feel bad, this whole situation is awful, and I feel like it's partially my fault even though I didn't do anything wrong. We left lunch without resolution, but I noticed she didn't promise to talk to Marcus. That night I drove by Dave's apartment. Marcus's car was there. I sat in my car across the street for 3 hours crying and calling his phone over and over. He never answered, never came outside. A neighbor eventually knocked on my window and asked if I was okay. I drove home ashamed. I'd become the psycho ex, the one who couldn't let go, the one who showed up uninvited and made scenes. 2 weeks after Marcus left, my mom called. Honey, your father and I are worried about you. Claire mentioned you've been struggling. Claire had been talking to my parents about me. Wonderful. I'm fine, I lied. We think you should apologize to Marcus. What you said was very hurtful. Did Claire tell you why I said it? She said you've been feeling insecure, but Marcus has been nothing but good to you for 5 years. One rough patch doesn't justify cruelty. Everyone was against me. My family, my friends, Marcus's family. All of them saw me as the villain because none of them knew what I knew. Except I didn't really know anything, did I? I had an unsent draft and a lot of suspicions. No smoking gun, no affair. Just vibes and anxiety and 3 months of paranoia that had driven me to say something unforgivable. I started seeing a therapist. Not to save my relationship, that seemed hopeless, but because I genuinely didn't know who I was anymore. Had I been right to trust my instincts? Or had I destroyed a good relationship because of my own insecurity? Dr. Patterson listened to everything and then asked me a simple question: do you trust your own perception of reality? I realized I didn't. Marcus had spent 3 months telling me I was imagining things and I'd internalized it. Trust isn't just about whether someone is physically faithful, she said. It's about whether they make you feel secure, heard, and valued. Did Marcus do those things? I thought about it, really thought about it. And the answer was no. He hadn't made me feel any of those things in months. Every concern I raised was dismissed. Every need I expressed was ignored. He'd been emotionally unavailable to me while being emotionally available to my sister. Maybe nothing physical happened. Maybe he never would have crossed that line. But he'd already checked out of our relationship and checked into something else, even if that something else was just the fantasy of my sister. The comment I made was cruel, but it wasn't unprovoked. 3 weeks after he left, Marcus finally called me. My heart jumped when I saw his name. Hey, he said, sounding tired. Hi, I've missed you. Yeah, listen, I think we should talk in person. Can you meet me at the apartment tomorrow? He was coming home. We were going to fix this. I barely slept that night, planning what I'd say, how I'd apologize better this time. I got to our apartment 30 minutes early and cleaned everything. Made coffee, tried to look good but not like I was trying too hard. When he arrived, he looked different, lighter somehow. Thanks for meeting me, he said formally like I was a stranger. Of course, this is our home. Actually, that's what I wanted to talk about. I think we should sell it, or one of us should buy the other out. The floor dropped out from under me. What? I've had time to think. We're not good together anymore. We haven't been for a while. One fight. It wasn't one fight. It was months of you being paranoid and controlling. It was you going through my phone. It was you making that comment designed to hurt me in the worst way possible. You were emotionally cheating with Claire. I was being friends with your sister. The fact that you can't see the difference is exactly the problem. I pulled out my phone and showed him the screenshot again. Then explain this. He looked at it and for the first time I saw something like shame cross his face. I never sent that, but you wrote it. I was confused. Claire is easy to talk to. You and I were fighting all the time and she was nice to me. I thought maybe I had feelings for her, but I didn't. It was just emotional spillover from our problems. You wanted her. I wanted what I thought she represented. Someone who wasn't angry at me all the time. Someone who didn't make me feel like I was constantly doing something wrong. He ran his hand through his hair. But I never acted on it. I never would have. I didn't cheat on you. Emotional cheating is still cheating. Maybe, but you know what's also toxic? What you did, going through my phone, tracking my texts, showing up at Dave's place in the middle of the night. I didn't. Dave told me he saw you sitting outside for hours. I felt my face burn with shame. You need help, Marcus said, not unkindly. Professional help. This level of anxiety and jealousy isn't normal. Don't gaslight me. You had feelings for my sister. Had past tense, feelings I never acted on and worked through on my own. You want to crucify me for thoughts I didn't even share. You shared them with her in that draft, which I didn't send, because I knew it was wrong. because despite what you think, I was trying to stay faithful to you. We were both yelling now, standing in our living room like strangers. I want to sell the apartment, he said again, quieter. I'll move my stuff out this week. We can split everything 50-50. That's it, 5 years and you're just done. You were done first. You checked out months ago. I was just too stupid to see it. I checked out because you were falling for someone else. Believe what you want, he said, heading for the bedroom. I'm getting my things. I followed him, desperate. Please. Can't we try counseling? Can't we? I don't want to try. I'm tired. I'm tired of defending myself, tired of being accused, tired of walking on eggshells. I want to be with someone who trusts me. Someone like Claire. He stopped packing and looked at me with something like pity. Claire and I are friends, that's it, but the fact that you can't accept that even now proves this is over. Did you talk to her after you left? A pause. Yes. How often? That's none of your business anymore. The way he said it, the ease with which he claimed privacy from me now confirmed everything. He'd been emotionally intimate with her all along. Maybe he was right that it wasn't cheating, maybe nothing physical happened, but he'd built a connection with her that he should have been building with me. I think you should leave, he said. This is too hard with you here. I grabbed my purse and left my own apartment, feeling like I'd lost some battle I didn't even know I was fighting. Over the next week, I found out through mutual friends that Marcus had been telling everyone his version of events. The jealous girlfriend who drove him away, the cruel comment about his sexual performance, the invasion of privacy. He painted himself as a victim of my instability. Nobody asked for my side. They just stopped inviting me to things. I lost Marcus, my social circle, and my sense of reality all at once. But here's the part I haven't told anyone. The part I found 3 days after our final conversation that changed everything. I went back to the apartment to get some things while Marcus was at work. I was gathering my clothes when I noticed his laptop was there. He'd forgotten it. It was open and still logged in. I shouldn't have looked, but after weeks of being told I was crazy, I needed to know. I opened his messages. There, in his chat with Claire, was a conversation from 2 days ago. Claire, how did it go with her? Marcus, as expected, she's not taking.